Right, yesterday was Fair Divorce Day. It was like a campaign throughout the world. What a fantastic concept. And so I got to thinking, is divorce fair? Well, a lot of people you speak to who've been through it would say absolutely not. And what does that mean? What's the result of that? And I remember not very long ago having a conversation that really brought home to me what happens when something isn't fair. And the outcome is people die. And you might think that's a bit extreme, but let me explain what I mean. So I was having this conversation with, she used to be a lawyer and she's now a mediator. And I said, well, why would you stop being a lawyer? I mean, it's great income. Yeah, you could do both. And she said, look, I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I asked her what she meant. And she told me something I don't think I'll ever forget. She said, my last two clients, and she was talking about two completely separate divorce cases. She said, my last two clients, I was there doing my best to keep it as peaceful as possible within this system, this family law system. And she said both the clients that she was representing killed themselves. One hung himself and the other threw himself off Beachy Head. And she said that was it. I couldn't do this anymore. Now you might think that's a bit of an extreme example, but I always ask mediators who used to be lawyers and who have stopped why they do it, and they I'll be honest, they don't usually give quite such a dramatic reason, but they do say, I just don't want to be part of this anymore. So when you've got lawyers who think the system stinks, what's it going to be like for the families, the parents who have to navigate this toxic family law system? And it's toxic ultimately because it's not fair, it's just not fair. It has rules that don't pan out. It was fascinating to watch Right Honourable Lord Justice Macfarlane at the Families Need Fathers conference this weekend. And good on him. He was really listening to what the fathers and mothers were saying about their real life experience, trying to get access to their own children or deal with incredibly difficult ex-partners where there was parental alienation involved. It was horrendous, actually. And he was taking notes and he was really listening, I think with a certain amount of confusion to how often what should be happening in the courtroom just doesn't pan out in reality. And there was this overriding sense that the system just isn't fair. And that's almost worse than it's just not working. Because when something doesn't work, when something feels unfair, then you have no hope. And when you have no hope, then bad shit happens. I mean, people do commit suicide. You might think I'm exaggerating, but have a look at what you can't argue with the findings of the World Health Organization, right? So they looked at a whole load of countries, I think it was about 18 countries, and they were looking at the causes of suicide. And of course, there's lots of different reasons why people commit suicide. So there were different key reasons in the different countries. And there was only one factor that was behind suicide rates that all 18 countries shared. And that was divorce and family separation. So, on an international scale, we know that it's a deeply emotional and difficult time. So if you add into that a family law system that isn't working very well and not enough early intervention and all the things we know about, but what's happening about it? And with the best will in the world, the Right Honourable Lord Justice Macfarlane can only do so much on his own, because he has all those judges to persuade. There's acts of parliament that need to be put in place to change stupid laws like the one that allows someone who's an abuser to self-represent in a family law case and effectively cross-examine the person they've been abusing, maybe for 3 days in court. I mean, you couldn't do that in the criminal courts, but you can do it in the family courts. And they are changing. And Lord Justice Macfarlane did say, we must do something about that. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot to be done. But in the meantime, what are we going to do? Because ultimately, we need to come up with the creative and proactive solutions to this. It's not enough just to whinge on and complain that things aren't working in the courts. If we wait for them, that's more families suffering, more children self-harming and also becoming suicidal. We have, as a society, as a community, we need to come up with better ways other than saying people shouldn't get divorced, which is always one of those kind of backstop arguments, which isn't, to be honest, isn't really very helpful for those who are stuck in the middle of that situation. So I would invite you, please, to come up with some good possible solutions. And when I say good, I mean they could be crazy ideas, they can be creative. Let's pool the resources of all our intelligence and our ideas. And this isn't just people who've been through it, but people who've grown up with divorce in their families. We all have a part to play in this, and let's put together those ideas. And I'm sure Families Who Need Fathers would be very happy to present those ideas to, being cheeky because I haven't actually asked them, but they already, within the conference, there were some brilliant ideas coming out from members of Families Need Fathers who were there. So they would be the ideal, I think, group, one of the ideal groups to take forward these ideas, these solutions to the Right Honourable Lord Justice Macfarlane. And let's get some change happening. We need to make things fairer. Is that too much to ask? To have a fairer system. That's what our legal system's supposed to be all about, fairness. But it's failing in family law. And we need to change that. I look forward to seeing your solutions. I'm Susie Miller, your divorce strategist in the war of family separation, on the battlefield of divorce. Let's make peace our weapon of choice. Thank you.